Very, very exciting and special episode. We don't do Monday episodes too often. And unless you're subscribed to our YouTube channel or wherever you're getting your podcast from, you're not going to be notified of this until we post on social media, which sometimes is a little later than it actually gets released. And then you'll be behind, and then your friends will laugh at you and your lives will probably fall apart. And it's just like the catalyst to everything horrible. So subscribe everywhere you can. Riley, is that what you were going to say before I said it?
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth.
Okay. And I know Ashleigh agrees. She's nodding. So we know she's on board. We have an amazing guest today, part of the Ringer family, someone who knows TV better, I've been told, than almost anyone else.
Wow.
Walking encyclopedia of television. We have, at the Ringer, they call her Jo. In real life, they call her Joanna Robinson.
Correct. Riley, thank you so much, I presume, for saying those nice things about what I know about television. Thanks for having me. I'm a huge fan of this podcast, so I'm thrilled to be here.
Good. Thank you. And this is the 20 minutes actually where we do let you just go on and on about how much you love our podcast.
Okay. Well, I'm ready.
How long have you watched Survivor? So you cover scripted, you cover some non-scripted. I've been seeing a lot of commentary from you about Survivor this season specifically. How deep do your Survivor fandom roots run?
So I watched it originally, like when it originally started. I was into the original seasons, and then I fell off for a really long time. And it was actually when I started working at the Ringer, your friend of your pod, Mallory Rubin, my co-host, really got me into Survivor because I joined the Ringer. I don't follow sports at all. She's like, well, if you don't follow sports, at least you can follow Survivor. And I did like a massive deep dive and just watched all of, actually, Stephen Fishback sent me like an incredible incredible spreadsheet of like what order to watch what seasons in, and just did a massive, over the last couple of years, immersive deep dive. And now I'm like a Survivor fanatic. So,
and do you agree with the list he sent you?
Here and there. Most of it, a lot of it was great advice. Steven's got great advice, but yeah, I so like the last couple of years, and now I'm just like an obsessive, and watching it live and listening to your podcast has just been a really, really great way to get into it. So yeah.
Any criticisms you have with the podcast?
You should do more episodes. I think
more
you guys
episodes?
are doing like a 2 episode a week. Like, why not every day during Survivor 50?
Well,
you know?
We're on Monday this week. We're trying here, Jo, and you're part of it. So yeah. What are your thoughts on this season specifically? Are you enjoying the returning season? Are you excited to see all these players back? Are you bummed that new players didn't get their shot? What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly players that, I would love to have seen on this season that aren't on this season. But this is my first, since becoming like a Survivor fanatic, this is my first like massive returnee season. So I've never experienced that live before. And that's just a different kind of game analysis because there's so much external baggage and drama and different dynamics that is brought to it. So I think this is just, as they were hoping, we're all just really hooked into Survivor 50. But this is just like a different level of watching live, can't miss TV sort of experience. So I'm having a blast.
Good. And what are you loving about this season so far? What are who are your favorite characters so far?
I think, obviously Christian has had the benefit of the edit, and going to tribal every week and so being such a quirky character. So he's emerged in these first few weeks as a real star. I think that's like sort of unanimous. I'm getting texts from friends all the time who are just sort of like, he's America's sweetheart right now. We love Christian. But like, I'm a long-term, like I'm a huge Cirie fan, obviously, but I'm like an Aubrey fan. So I'm on the lookout for what's going on with Aubrey this season. It's very curious to me. I'm really interested in how these old schoolers are adapting to a new school environment. And yeah, but most of all, it's the external juicy drama of like the exit interviews. Your guys' exit interviews have been amazing, but the way in which people are sort of processing their trauma, their past Survivor trauma via these exit interviews, the way in which Survivor itself is working so hard to make their trauma the text of this season with the flashbacks and, crafting like Charlie's narrative or the Coach and Ozzy feud or whatever the case may be. The producers really want us to feel all 50 seasons as we're watching it. And that's been just like a really fascinating thing to experience.
Yeah, that has been fun to see the throwbacks, and also like just you go in thinking you're going to play differently, and then something triggers your emotion, and you're like, nope, I got to be on my guard for. It's like you revert back to like, even I'm on House of Villains, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, I have to change up my style here. Like I can tell when I'm lying. I can tell when I'm trying to manipulate somebody. I can like watching it and I'm like too intense. I get like crazy eyes, and I'm like, I just got to be like more chill and not care and not try so hard to win every single moment. But I can't, because I'm me and I think I can. And then I get out there and it's like, well, whatever. This, I guess, is probably, yeah.
Who do you think is the best liar currently on 50, currently playing?
I mean, we haven't, maybe.
I mean, I feel like
Christian?
I feel like there's Christian.
Who?
I feel like Sari is.
Sari, but she hasn't
like
really had to lie. She hasn't lied. She's just been accepting and open.
On this season, but in the totality of her reality TV career and experience.
Maybe Sandra. Sandra's a really good liar.
What about Camilla?
Yeah.
Camilla's been doing a really good.
Camilla's a good liar. Yeah, Camilla is actually a really good liar because she's so under the radar about it. Like, yeah.
Watching this last week, her get the news about, she first learns about the idol from Rizzo and then she learns about it from Charlie, and her reaction is exactly the same both times. And I was just like, I was stunned by that, because when you watch Christian, do his like play acting sort of like, oh, what is called what? So the boomerang idol versus Camilla just being like, oh, interesting, fascinating information. I was stunned by that. I thought it was amazing.
It is.
We also had the Camilla, like when she did, it really, when you said the thing about Kyle, it was like, ooh, to Rizzo. And then later in the confessional, she was like, yeah, that part didn't really make sense to me. I don't think it's true.
So good.
I think that's why she mentioned it twice too, because she's like, you're obviously lying, and I know that you're lying. And if you look a little bit deeper, you'll know that I can catch on to you. Yeah. But like, that's such a beautiful thing for you to say.
Right.
Yeah, I do. I think as we get down to it, where the lie, because you have to lie more as you get closer to the end game and everyone kind of feels like they're going to be in the end game, that's when you really have to start like kind of lying. And early on like this, you really try your best to hold it all together and tell the truth as much as you can, because it always comes back to bite you. It's always going to come back. It's just like, are they going to catch on after the season's aired and we're good? Or are they going to catch on in game and I'm in trouble? Last week, we got a teaser that teased the merge. And historically, the merge happens at episode 6 in this new era, which is what we will be on. But we're doing this podcast with the belief that the merge is happening. Yeah. But they could be tricking us. Maybe it's a tribe swap. There's 17 people still left, but they could get rid of one and split it into 2 groups of 8 or something like that. Like there's other scenarios. Joe, is this the merge? Are we seeing the merge? Did they tease us or did they trick us? Is this their lie and they're so good at it?
I think it would be wild if it's not the merge, given the way that they cut that promo. I think that would be really wild. But I don't know what the catch is, because I can't imagine we're doing a full merge at 17. So if there's some sort of like mergatory triple elimination that happens before, because, to get a couple people out and then we're down to like a more reasonable 14 merge tribe than a 17 merge tribe, which is absolutely bonkers insane. But this is the episode, they put it in the teaser, but this is the episode where I feel like the most unpredictable thing could happen, because whatever they do, whatever games they're playing around this merge, I feel like we're going to see a shuffle that's going to put a lot of alliances in trouble. You know what I mean? Like if there's just a random split into 3 or into 2 before the merge, which they have done in the past, then all of your carefully laid plans are just thrown by the wayside and you just have to scramble and figure out what to do. So that's like the luck could really be against someone in this upcoming episode based on if they do something like that, Yeah,
we could be getting that actually, because over the new era, they've split it in half and only half was eligible, half won immunity. Man, that would be, I actually don't like that. It does screw up your game so much. It can screw up people's games so hard. You have all these plans, you've had the plans, and then all of a sudden, half the people that are voting can't even be voted for. It's tricky. Riley, what do you think? You think we're getting the merge?
I think it's the merge. I do think there'll be some weird split up. Although 17 is a very odd number. It doesn't divide into anything. Prime number for those mathematicians out there.
There you go. Yeah. So it's for the mathematicians, because nobody else knows or understands what the terminology of a prime number.
It's only the most advanced among us.
Yeah.
Because if it were 16, I'd be like, it's going to be 8 and 8.
For those folks at home, what a prime number is it cannot be divisible by any other number.
Nice. Thank you, Tyson.
There you go. Okay, carry on, Riley.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for explaining for our audience.
Yeah.
I had more faith in our audience that they would.
Well, you said the mathematicians, so you're either assuming that we're all mathematicians here.
I just think our audience is the cream of the crop.
They are.
I was told there'd be no math on this podcast, but I'm ready to roll with it.
That's Riley's fault. He's the one that told you no math, and then he's the one that brings up the math.
My hope for this is that we get, even if it's half of them are immune or whatever, we still get a 17-person tribal council with 17 votes being cast, or 16 or whatever. There's Colby doesn't have a vote right now. Sari might have 2 votes. But just, I want Jeff up there for 2 minutes reading votes, and them trying to figure out the scramble to figure out where all the votes go. There's this idea in the new era where they've leaned towards smaller tribes because it's you have nowhere to hide. But I actually think that, it gives these players a better understanding of where the lines are, who they need to get. Okay, if there's 6 of us, if I can get 4, we're set. You can lock in a 4. 17 people, you got to lock in 9 to get the majority?
You probably don't need 9. You probably only need 6.
Right. There's going to be some weird
vote
split vote. Yeah. There's going to be some stray votes. There's going to be some weird stuff happening. It's going to be just an insane scramble. So that's my hope for this episode.
Okay. Well, Joe, let's go back to your idea of multiple people getting eliminated. How would they do that? Split the group in 2, eliminate one from both sides. If it's a triple knockout, which I've heard is happening this season at some point, how does that play out?
I am not a mathematician, so I'm having a hard time figuring out how they split it into 3. But if they're, they've done weird things in the past where someone sits out and bets on which team they think are going to make it to the merge. There's just weird things they've done with odd numbers. I have my eye on, Colby has no vote, but also there was that really weird, Colby's foot is injured moment. And I just I don't know if we have any more sort of medevac situations this season, but I feel like they don't make a point of mentioning an injury if it's not going to matter in some way or another going forward. So that's something I have my eye on, but I can't make in the tease, it's a merge tease. It's also this idea of a blood moon. Plus you see everyone literally scrambling around into the forest. So I don't know what's going to happen. They could introduce any kind of Olivia Rodrigo idol that changes everything and we don't see it coming. So who knows?
Why don't we have Sia?
Yeah, it's a great question.
She's dumped a lot of money. She's given a lot to the Survivor contestants. She's been present for a long time and a known fan. She seems like that would be the first person to call if you're going to have a celebrity out there spearfishing. Sia out there fishing in a wig. It was just come on.
That's prime television. But also, what if they just scramble in the forest and it's just Sia in the forest? You just come upon her in the forest and she has a gift for you. She's like Galadriel. She has a gift for you from the forest. I would love something like
She's
that.
just as a tree.
Yeah.
Is that a Lord of the Rings reference?
Listen, that's a Lord of the Rings reference. And I can only be myself,
Yeah. I mean, why be anybody different? I did also see this is way off topic. I saw a little Tom Bombadil talk from you, Joe, a little while ago, I think. And that's been my major gripe with the movies is where the hell is Tom Bombadil?
Where the hell is Tom Bombadil? It's the great question of the era, you know? And apparently Stephen Colbert is going to fix that. Apparently Stephen Colbert is going to make a Tom Bombadil Lord of the Rings movie. And I'm like, it's about time. Everyone wants Tom. Who doesn't? Yeah.
Do we need a whole movie? I just need him heavily present for like 10 minutes of the movie and then totally gone. Just like the book.
Yeah.
Do we need any more of this Lord of the Rings stuff? No. Are we going to get it? Yes. So it might as well be Tom Bombadil, you know?
Might as well. Okay. So are we all in agreement that some type of merge is happening then on Wednesday?
Yeah, but with
some
weird twist.
Especially, it's a 2-hour episode too.
Yes, that's right. Can never have too much Survivor. Let's get into where we think this episode is going to go. Like, going at the merge is kind of a heartbreaker as a contestant. We have Voets with just 4 left: Ozzy, Christian, Emily, and Stephanie. Selah is Jonathan, Camilla, Dee, Rick, Rizzo, and Cirie. And Callow is Coach, Joe, Colby, Tiffany, Aubrey, Genevieve, and I assume Chrissy. We didn't see her last week on TV, but I assume she's on there.
She's still alive.
I saw her once during the challenge.
You saw her?
Yeah.
Okay.
She went, and that was it. Yeah.
What is happening here? Who has the upper hand? Is there anybody where you're looking at this list and thinking the merge is going to be fantastic for this person?
Cirie has the most connections, I think, with everybody in every single tribe. And I feel like she's just going to be able to sit on a hammock and let people come to her. So I think she's doing amazing.
Okay, so who we got? So we got Cirie with Selah right now, and she has Rizzo. And who else does she have at Selah? Camilla?
Dee and Camilla. Yeah.
And Rick? Is Rick still with her? Or is he not with her after?
I mean, here's who I think did the shittiest job in the swap, which is the Nerd Alliance, because which is the Emily, Christian, Devon's alliance, because Emily and Christian, Ozzy and Stephanie coming out of that are not trusting them about anything, right? They were not included in any of those votes. Devon's didn't do anything to maintain his relationship with Cirie in this swap. He just hopped on over with Jonathan and Charlie and stuff like that. Yeah. And so when they come back together, none of those connections still seem like they're happening. But
they haven't built anything.
Exactly. But to Ashleigh's point, I think Cirie is the only one who knows where every single advantage is, right? She knows where every single idol is. She knows where every single vote. She might not know that Colby doesn't have a vote, but other than that, I think she knows everything, and she's just beautifully positioned which is right where I want her. Beautifully positioned on that hammock, as Ashleigh said. I love it. Yeah.
So who else is she pulling in? So you think Stephanie and Ozzy's going back to Cirie?
Ozzy's going back to Cirie. I think Aubrey possibly, because Aubrey is a bit of a loose cannon here, a lone wolf. And Cirie said earlier when she heard that the idol had gone to Aubrey, she was like, great, Aubrey, I want to work with Aubrey, right? And then Aubrey has the Tiffany connection, and Tiffany was with Dee and Camilla and their original tribe. So there's a possibility of Aubrey and Tiffany coming into this Camilla, Dee, Rizzo, Cirie alliance, possibly.
Aubrey's got a bit of the in too with Coach,
right?
From which I think is kind of the other side of this, because we know that the Coach and Ozzy, that they are not going to mix. So those are kind of the two. The other side of this is the honor and integrity folks.
Is there a world where Cirie, because I'm looking at this and we're naming Cirie who she has around her, none of them are the honor and integrity group. Is that a group? Are those two separate can they coexist? Can they not coexist? Can you pull a Cirie into the honor and integrity? I don't understand.
Have you talked about I don't know how much you guys have talked about the pre-gaming conversation that people have been talking about.
We talk pre-gaming as we want, but we just also don't know how much is out there. So, but pre-gaming we acknowledge exists and we acknowledge has happened extensively. We just don't know who is all connected with who. And I wish that producers at Survivor on a returning season, day one, before the game even starts, give me all of your pregame. What is happening? What relationships do you have? And then we can use that in the show.
Because the rumor that, people are talking about in an exit interview, so I feel like that's kosher to talk about, is this idea of like the Zoom alliance, which is essentially like the core of the Honor and Integrity Alliance, which is Coach, Colby, Joe, Jonathan, and Stephanie. Like that those people came together before and were like, I see you, you see me, let's hang together. Those are a lot of the old schoolers, minus like Chrissy, who Coach is sort of like brought in, but minus Cirie and Ozzy very significantly. So I feel like if Cirie and Ozzy are like, we were left out of this like large, Jonathan and Joe aren't, but like largely like sort of old school classic A-list Survivor meeting, and we were left out, like, let's make our own thing. And I think that's a narrative they can craft, which is just sort of like the old schoolers who sort of circled the wagon, and then your Ciries who are like, I'm married to Rizzo now. Like, I'm embracing like the new class a bit more, and I'm being more adaptive and just playing on the ground. Do you know what I mean? I think that's like an interesting sort of verses that they can position. But I think because Cirie is with Ozzy, who knows how loyal she is to that, but like because she is with Ozzy, I don't think Ozzy and Coach is never going to happen. So I don't think she's going to be wrapped into that sort of honor and integrity or Zoom alliance, however you want to, phrase it.
I don't think so.
So you have Cirie being more fluid, more adaptable, and you have this honor, integrity, Zoom thing being more rigid. Is there a right way and a wrong way to play? Who's going to go further as these groups? Everybody always says like, you have to be adaptable. That's the number one game in Survivor. But as I'm looking at this, I'm like, you just have to have the bigger group or the big enough group that's going to stick loyal. So does it matter, like, to be adaptable? If you get a solid 5 and they are locked, you don't have to be that adaptable.
I think that's interesting. I'm just curious what happens. That's why I'm so interested in this episode, because if you've got the honor and if they all make it to the merge, the Honor and Integrity Alliance is like a scary thing to try to break, especially when you have like Joe and Jonathan, who are huge physical threats on there and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, you've got some like immunity capable people on there and all this sort of stuff like that. But like if things get fractured before the merge, and some of those people are taken out, then what place does that put that alliance? But I mean, like, Tyson, you're the best position to answer that. What do you think is a better gameplay? Adaptability or strong
Historically,
numbers?
Being adaptable has always been like the pitch to people, like, be adaptable, be willing to shift on a dime, be willing to throw your friend under the bus. But the thing is that the more loyalty you show somebody, the more loyalty they're going to show you back. And so I would almost, if I could get to the merge with people believing that I'm filled with honor and integrity and me believing the same of them, I feel like that's almost a more powerful position. If you have this group that's like built where it's like any amount of mistrust and they're out. So then everybody is on their extreme best behavior to prove their loyalties to everyone. I feel like it's almost more straightforward, easier, less taxing emotionally. Could be, I hate to say it could be the play. Like maybe I've been thinking about it all wrong this whole time. Like I really do feel like I know if Joe is telling me that I have his word that he's good, like he means it. Like, Coach, sure, but with a grain of salt, that you have to understand that sometimes his lines shift a little bit, but you can always kind of reel him back in.
He always means it. It just might change.
Right.
Correct.
He's never actually lying to you. He's he's like George Costanza. It's like, it's not a lie if you believe it. He just might later not believe it.
Yes. So I do think that does make the game easier to navigate if you're part of that group and are really integrated there. But if that
I have
group
a question
crumbles,
really quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you have like the loyalty of Joe and you have the loyalty of like Rizzo. Rizzo's like super duper extremely loyal, but he is open to working with like we don't know yet, but he doesn't seem like he's going for the integrity alliance, who do you think is going to have the most trouble within like this 17-person merge? Joe, who's like all about loyalty, all about being honest, or Rizzo, who doesn't necessarily say that he's all about loyalty and honesty, but seems to be like moving in that direction without knowing it?
I think Joe is going to have an easier time. I think you get to the merge with somebody who historically has always said that they want to play a trustworthy, straightforward, loyal game. Then it's easier to like leave that person. They're not as threatening. And I think that's part of this group is like, if you're like, oh, I always tell the truth, then that's not threatening. Then I know that if I come to you or if you tell me something, that I can believe it. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, there is also this narrative that they were playing a bit more in the first couple episodes with that like Joe and Devin's confrontation in their original tribe, which, you know, when you had Suri be like, oh, told a lie on Survivor, you know what I mean? Like this very like, what are you talking about? That's the game. So I think they're very much, you know, in the edit positioning these two types of gameplay. There's like new school versus old school. And then there's like honor and integrity versus you make deals, you make friends, you move, you shake, you betray, you backstab, you outlast, you outwit. Like that's what the game is. And so, you know, part of that is crafted in the edit, but I think the producers are really invested in certain narratives, one of which is that old school and new school combination. That's why I think Suri and Rizzo is like an absolute dream team for them. They just like are loving the Suri and Rizzo combo. Similarly, Jonathan has this whole story that he's been telling in all of his press interviews about how Boston Rob trained him, right? So that's another sort of like old school, new school apprentice sort of narrative. But like you have this sort of rigid honor, integrity, we don't tell a lie on Survivor. And then you have, hey man, that's Survivor. You betray. That's what we do. That I think what they want Survivor 50 to be is some sort of big referendum on what this game is. You know, what is this game and how is it evolved? But what is it at its core? We want to define it by who wins it at the end of the day. And there's only so much, of course, that like the producers and the edit can control at the end of the day and all of that. But there is something they can do to shape that, which I think is really interesting to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I do also think like the fan base in general, maybe not, I don't know. Like people generally celebrate the lying and the tricking and the deceiving on Survivor. Some people hate it still. And this honor integrity thing is like, oh no, that hasn't worked since season 2 or season 4. Like now it's a new game, but now it's become so much of deception and outplaying and tricking, and that circling back to this honor integrity thing is like, oh, it could work if you find the right group of people that are really willing to stick to it. Because you get a couple people in there that say they're going to do it and then don't, then the whole thing falls apart. So you have to have 5 people that believe it. I think Rick is going to have a hard time here. Like you can lie on Survivor, but if you admit that you're lying and admit that somebody's getting mad at you for lying, and I'm sitting there and hearing that conversation, I'm like, oh, you're admitting that you're lying. That's enough firepower. That's enough ammo for me to just get rid of you. To just be like, remember when Rick admitted to lying? Like, now is he lying to us?
Right.
Like, how do we... Yeah. It seemed weird. It seemed like a weird admission.
And like seeming to like enjoy it just for like lying's sake too. Like
it was a confusing move.
Yeah. When Rick got all like pissy about that, I mean, it was like, dude, like Joe caught you in a lie. Like I know that Joe probably overreacted to that, and that's annoying. But like, do you expect him to just be like, ah, shucks, like good man, this is Survivor. Like, of course he's going to be upset.
Got me.
Right. I actually, so I think Devin's is a lot of trouble just because of like he's sort of at loose ends a little bit, except for, you know, Christian and Emily. But I actually think the person I'm most worried about if we all merge together might be Camilla, because Joe has this beef with her that he has stated several times that he is so resentful of the way that he feels like Kyle and Camilla tricked him and made a fool of him on Survivor. And if you look at like these lingering beefs, like, oh, you know, like the David versus Goliath, it's just Christian now, right? And Tiff's the only one left from her season. So like, what are these lingering, you know, and like Charlie's trauma has been excised, and like you still have the Coach and Ozzy sort of beef that is percolating, that will come to a head, I'm sure. But this like Camilla Joe situation, I think, is waiting to explode in a way that, like, I think if he's like can get his honor integrity crew to be like, she's a liar and she fooled me all the way to the end, she's dangerous, we need to get her out, I'm worried for her if she is like merged with them, you know?
What a great point. I didn't even think about that, because you're so right. This could be a season full of people who are experiencing past trauma and trying to decide whether to get past that or to actually dive deeper into it. Like Charlie dove deeper into it. It ended up becoming his downfall. So with Joe, is he actually going to be able to, I mean, so far from what we've seen with how he reacts to people lying to him, he doesn't seem to be okay with that or like able to get past that. So I think you're totally right. He's going to mention the Camilla thing for sure. And it might, either it's going to be bad for Camilla or it might be a downfall for Joe. And it might turn into something where he just cannot get over it.
Yeah, I agree. But let's say Joe does get rid of Camilla. Does that change the way he plays? Is that going to change anything for him? Is that just an easy target for him to paint onto somebody because he has experience with her? Like, what is his end goal?
I think it's just sort of like a, hey, if you're with me, this is what I need. You know what I mean? Like that happens in Survivor, right? You're like, okay, you're in my alliance. I really need for you to prove your loyalty to me. We need to get this person who's a problem for me out. And then we will all solidify that we all trust each other by voting on this person that you have no beef with, but I do. So like, do this for me sort of thing. That's sort of how I see it.
Yeah. And it does, like, sometimes like if your ally will really want someone gone, and even though it's not even maybe best for your game, you're like, well, to stay with this ally, I do have to give them this right now, and then I'll adjust because we're actually getting rid of somebody that wasn't horrible for me, but now they're gone. So like there's so many little situations where you're choosing like who your number one is over your number three.
Right.
Or even over your number 3 and number 4. Or are your number 3 and number 4 going to be better for you in the end than your number 1? Like that happens all the time. All the time.
I'm also curious how much you all think that Dee as a target on her is the only winner still left in the game.
The only winner, and like the way that she won and the way that she plays too. Like when she was a name that came up in my head when we were just saying who is the best liar left on the beach. Dee we didn't mention, but I think that she's in the conversation as like extremely adept at making people feel like she's with them or whatever. And just, I mean, her season, she like ripped Austin's heart out and like ate it right at Final Tribal in front of everybody and then won $1 million.
Yeah, it is true. And also she did kind of spearhead this Charlie thing. And so like people see that move, be like, okay, she was able in a short amount of time to flip it and target Charlie. Like and make it work. So I do believe that
unless there are people who like have it in their head that they're like, oh, if I sit next to Dee, they'll never give another $1 million to somebody who won, which I think would be like, that's a way of thinking that I could see a lot of these players adopting, but I think would actually be kind of wrong. I feel like I would be worried of like,
you just say Sandra at Heroes versus Villains. That's all you have to say.
Right.
Like,
well, but Sandra's
out of spite for the 2 finalists, they voted Sandra to win.
Right. And Parvati was also a previous winner on Heroes versus Villains. And Russell was like the most hated person ever. So like that, you know, but yeah, I'd be scared of basically like, well, you let a winner get to the end. Why should I like not vote for them when like, if anything, her path was more difficult. It's more impressive. So, you know, I would be on the side of like Dee is one of the scariest players out here and would definitely have a target on her.
Yeah.
I'm also curious. Sorry, this is just my chance to ask some of my favorite podcasters
Please.
to talk about Survivor questions about the season. But like, In a game like this, how much does a post-merge, like, let's get these immunity threats out of the game, how much does that matter at this point? Is like Jonathan in a lot of trouble? Is Joe in a lot of trouble? And I don't know who else we consider, like Stephanie,
Ozzy.
like Ozzy kind of, but Ozzy's back is hurting him, man, you know, and I really relate.
And he's been to every tribal council.
I really relate. Colby and Ozzy, I don't know, are not really like, they're a little washed, but like Joe, Jonathan, Stephanie, like, are these people in trouble because of their physical prowess, you know?
I think on a returning season, that stuff does not matter as much.
Okay.
Definitely pre-merge, people aren't trying to keep the tribe strong for the most part. You still have a faction that is like, we should be strong for challenges, but mostly it's about loyalty. Like, who can you trust? So it's deeper than that. And then at the merge, it's the same. Like, who can you trust? Like, if I trust Jonathan 100% or 98%, what do I care if he wins the challenge and wins immunity? Like, good, that's better, because now I understand that somebody who's not my ally isn't going to have as good a shot at winning these challenges.
Great point.
So I think it doesn't matter as much. And also the challenges, I think we're going to see other people winning these challenges. So you're going to be like, oh, Jonathan and Joe are beasts. I don't think we're going to see either of those guys win 4 or 5 immunity challenges. I think it's always different. Like, it's all like Tony had never won an immunity challenge in his life, and then he won 4 of them on Winners at War. Like, that's how Survivor goes. So I think we're going to get, like, who knows? Aubrey, Sari, maybe they're both going to win 4 each. And those are the only people that are going to win immunity challenges from here to the finish.
If Sari wins 4 immunity challenges, I don't know what I'll do.
We're living.
I'll shake my head. I'll shake my head if Sari wins 4 immunity challenges on this podcast. But that's the thing, is like, you're like, it could happen. Like, you just don't know. And the challenges are designed for people to win. For just like, they're not designed specifically for someone who's got more physical prowess or talent or coordination. Some of them are, but a lot of them aren't.
It's a lot of like endurance in these, like in the new era post merge. It's a lot of like, how long can you
holding still?
How long can you hold still? Savannah, how much Pilates have you done? And like, how long can you just be there in that position? You know? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's Pilates. It's yoga.
Yeah.
It's calisthenics, like how much can you tolerate hoisting your body weight? So it's not so much like, can you bench 300 pounds? It's, can you bench 70 pounds 400 times?
Yeah.
Like, that's more of it. And so I think that's not going to matter as much going into these returning seasons, because they also have relationships outside of this game that are years and years long, decades long in some scenarios. So on a new season, you don't have a lot to go on. So you do go into the merge, you're like, we got to get out the challenge beast. But part of that is just because, like, you don't know people well enough for that long to have other reasons that other people can believe to vote these people out. On a new season, you're just looking for a divide somewhere.
Yeah, it's that, you know, not to be too cute about it, but it's that tribalism idea, right? Because like in normal seasons, in non-returnee seasons, you get this like, oh, we're OG Vatu, or, you know, we're OG Vatu strong or whatever. Like, none of that matters here. Because I was like looking at the original tribe dynamics versus the swap tribe dynamics, and I was trying to figure out like who's gonna, and then I was like, actually, none of that shit matters at all, because these people all have their, you know, other ideas of tribalism, like, you know, we're old schoolers, or we're honor and integrity players, or whatever the case may be. This is how we define ourselves, and it has nothing to do with how Probst and the producers happen to sort us at the beginning of this whole game. And that's a really fun part of a returnee season, you know? Right.
Where on a new season, you hit the beach and it's like, okay, guys versus girls. Oh, wait, no, let's draw a line through party lines. Like, who voted for who no, now let's, like, you pick at whatever division that is kind of clear, and you make it a thing so that you can target the person you want. So like, literally it could be like, oh, I want Riley out. Okay, well, it's West Coast versus everyone else. And so we got to get rid of everybody on the West Coast. So Riley's like one of the most Western guys. He's all the way on the, like that's, you just invent something to target somebody, where on these returning seasons, they have real reasons that span a lifetime.
Should we talk about who hasn't gone to tribal yet at all? Because, it's a lot of people who have not been at all yet. We've got Colby, Coach, Genevieve, Aubrey, Chrissy, and Tiff, right?
And Tiffany.
Yeah, and Tiffany.
Yep. So 6 people.
Yeah.
That's 6.
Who haven't been at all. Welcome to the Thunderdome, guys.
Welcome to the Thunderdome. I think at this point, though, because pre-merge, historically, generally speaking, you want to get to a tribal council to see where the lines are drawn, if people are telling you the truth. But also, like, if you're on the bottom, like, you want to not be there. You're like, I already understand I'm on the bottom. I just scrambling to get to the merge so I can jump to the other side. And so I do think that there is like that mix of things on Callow where it's that whole group of people who haven't been to tribal council. I think they're fine. I think like what this group is so big at 17 that going to the merge, it's not going to, like, the lines, like Christian understands
scary?
He has Emily.
And you don't think like that's scary where if you haven't been to tribal council and now you're on a group of 17 people?
I think it's scary and like in the moment there, but I think watching it, it's too big of a group. Like chaos is just going to ensue, and it's not going to matter that you understand who's with you and who's not. Because if you look at it, it's like Coach and Joe and Colby and Chrissy are probably tighter than any 4 group out there besides them. And if they understand that, then there's no worry with them. Maybe Aubrey and maybe Genevieve could have benefited from seeing where the lines were drawn, but Aubrey already understands she's on the outs. And then Christian and Emily, we have each other. That's 2 out of 17. That's not enough to move anything. So I do think I think at 17 going to a merge, you just have to understand it's full chaos. Yeah. Like anything can happen, just duck.
I'm also curious if there's anything like in the edit that you guys have seen so far that like makes you think something is coming. The thing that's, Mallory Rubin and I are in a Survivor pool together. We're in like, we have put our team together. And like when we were putting it all in place, it was only after we watched the first episode, then we had to put our team together. And the thing that really stuck out to us was that Genevieve Aubrey confrontation, which was so weird and so out of nowhere and so oddly edited that we were like, this has to be planting a seed for something that's coming. So that was like why we put those 2 players sort of like high on our list of like something's coming with these women at the end of the day. But if there's anything else or like combos we haven't seen yet, like Coach and Ozzy on the same beach, or Rizzo meeting Coach, or like what are the like what is ahead of us that we haven't seen yet that we're excited for, Yeah,
is the Aubrey Genevieve thing going to actually play out? Because if it is, I don't think either one of them has the power to shift a 17 person group to target the other one. So I don't think that we're going to see that. If we see it, it's going to be later down the road,
right?
Like when there's like 6 or 7 people left.
Yeah.
With Ozzy and Coach, I can see that materializing pretty quickly, and I feel like Coach is going to come out on top of that one again, but maybe not. Maybe like Ozzy's the underdog now. Like, is that where we're at? Where in Coach versus Ozzy is the heavy underdog. And
I think so. Yeah.
So the Aubrey and Genevieve thing was weird. And it was also weird as it happened so immediate that it was like, did they have confrontation outside the game before this even happened? Like, why are they unwilling to work together.
I couldn't dig anything out of like Aubrey's past game, but for Genevieve, I could see a way in which she would see a Rachel inside of Aubrey and just be sort of like triggered by this, like, you know, other smart girl on the beach sort of energy. But I couldn't figure out what in Aubrey's past made her just so like immediately, I will not work with you with Genevieve. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah. It was, and I mean, the vibes were off.
Deeply off.
Like both of them made those vibes, created the vibes to be that off.
Yeah.
So it's like you only have each other to blame for that. I don't know. There's so much. Oh my gosh, 17 people. It's like too hard to predict anything. But with that, Riley, what should we be predicting?
Predictions?
Yeah, let's do some predictions here.
Well, because we did some on our last podcast, on our recap pod that we normally do, but I think that like because of the blood moon, we can. Which, by the way, I saw someone.
What is the blood moon?
And what is a blood moon? Isn't it when you get
a second full moon?
Yeah, it's a second full moon
month. But there's the episode. Is the next episode called Blood Moon or what?
Or is that a blue moon?
Wait,
second full moon month is a blue moon.
Oh, that's a blue moon.
Yeah. A blood moon, I thought, was when there's a lunar eclipse. It's
like, all red.
You know, so it gets all red. Which so I saw someone on Twitter or Reddit or somewhere say that there was no blood moon in Fiji during these filming days. It would have been so cool if there had been. They had like it had been like, oh, there's a lunar eclipse during this season. They actually made a twist based off of it. I've been like, oh, I'm into this. But
you mean a solar eclipse?
No, lunar eclipse. A solar eclipse. Okay. I'd
rather have a solar eclipse where the lights go out in the day for 3 minutes.
Okay, but solar eclipses are very rare. Have you seen a solar eclipse?
I have.
I
drove to Wyoming about 10 years ago, and it
2017
was the craziest thing I'd ever seen in person.
Oh, wow.
Lights, literally, the temperature started dropping like 20 to 30 degrees, and then the lights went out. You could take those glasses off, stare directly at the ring in the sky for about 2 minutes.
Cool.
And I should have gone to the last one in Texas a couple years ago. There's one in a year or two in New Zealand. Like once you have seen a full solar eclipse, then part of that is your personality. You're like, I should travel to see more solar eclipses. Full totality, though. Anything less than full totality is a waste of time.
It is literally the difference between night and day. Literally the difference between night and day.
Yes.
I am like, so I saw the one in 2017 and was so solar eclipse pilled. I spent the next like 6 years trying to convince people to see the one in 2023, which I also saw. And
you saw, where did you go to see it?
Vermont.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so fun that you can like look on the map and track like the trajectory, and you're like, should we go to Mexico? Like, where should we go for the next solar eclipse? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
You should, because there's not going to be one in America for like many years.
There's one in New Zealand in a couple years.
Let's go. Live Pod Has Spoken podcast from New Zealand for the solar eclipse. I think.
For real though, if you have any inkling of if you'd want to go to New Zealand or something at any time, like the solar eclipse, it's unbelievable. It's like, I'm not a very like religious or spiritual person, but it felt like a spiritual experience. It's like unbelievably cool.
Yeah. I just think back on olden days where you're like,
they
used to sacrifice humans and stuff. You're like, yeah, if the lights went out in the middle of the day, you would be like, who do we have to sacrifice? How do we get the sun back? What is happening?
Exactly.
I was reading, there was like an ancient Greek, I believe, like battle that was happening where then a solar eclipse happened like during the battle. And they basically just dropped their arms and like declared peace during it.
Because they're like, the gods have spoken.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, if this happened and you didn't know it was happening, you would literally think the world was ending.
Absolutely.
You'd be like, oh my God. And then later we were able, now that we have like such good precision for the way that we measure these bodies, like we could confirm that like literally a solar eclipse did happen like on that day when this was, this ancient tale of like, oh, this solar eclipse happened at this certain time. It's like, no, they weren't making it up. It literally did happen. The path to totality passed right over where they probably were fighting. Like, yeah. So, this is, we got way off topic.
But like,
lunar eclipse.
Do you feel like the blood moon is just like fun, quirky branding, and it's just like basically a bloodbath, like a triple elimination? You know what I mean? Like at night.
Yeah.
Like that's what it sounds like to me. It's a bloodbath at night, a blood moon.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. They love,
it's something like
they
that.
love their branding. Also, did you see that? Like, okay, we love Coach for what he does. But like, did you see that people were like fact checking his sort of like Japanese folklore names, and they were like,
we did.
No,
We fact checked.
Oh, I missed that. I was like, none of these exist.
We Googled them. Yeah.
They, they don't exist on the internet. I am holding out space that, Coach just has access to information that's not on the internet.
Sure. Okay.
And it is very much real.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got some ancient texts, some
I saw
stuff
some people
passed down.
say like maybe it came from Magic the Gathering, like maybe that's the source of this, who's to say. But I love a branding moment on Survivor. Like Operation Bad Blood was like an incredibly fun thing. Operation Italy, like whenever you name a thing something, it's really fun. So I think that's what they're going with for Blood Moon. It's just like a fun, catchy, let's just make it spooky,
ominous, a little spooky. Let's go. Yeah.
So do we want to pick, like, if it were a triple elimination, we could each pick like 3 that we think are going to go?
If it's a single elimination, pick one. So pick your top one, pick your second one, and then pick your third one. So then we have all bases covered. So
all bases covered.
Joe, if it's a single elimination, who's going at the merge?
Camilla.
Okay. Double elimination. Who's next? Who's after Camilla?
D.
Okay. And number 3, if it's a triple knockout.
Devins, maybe? Just because.
Wow. All from Sela. Okay. Camilla D. Devins. Also, do you like, speaking of Devins, people are just bouncing around with his names. Some call him Rick. Some call him Devins. I feel more comfortable calling him Rick.
Oh, I was always on team. I always called him Devins.
I always called him Devins before, but then when he's come back and people are calling him Rick now I feel I want to call him Rick.
Okay.
The one that's driving me up to the wall is calling Christian Hubicki.
Oh, yeah.
Like, where'd that come from? He's just Christian.
Yeah.
That's a Probst move, isn't it? Like, that's that's a sign of affection when he calls you by your last name. So, yeah.
Yep.
Correct.
He never called me by my last name.
Yet.
Riley. Oh, let's do Ashleigh next. Ashleigh.
Oh, man. Okay.
Oh, are you ready or not?
No, I'm ready. I could do it.
Okay. Who's going home next if it's one?
I'm gonna say D, just because she'd be easy vote. Number 2, I'm gonna say Chrissy, because she's also kind of an easy vote and she's not really deep into any alliances.
Is she still on the show? She's still on the show? Are we sure?
She's still on the show.
She's
right next to Tiff.
Okay.
Yep.
And then I'm going to say it's going to get a little weird. And I think this is going to be really crazy, but I think it might be Coach if Ozzy and Sari and everybody get together and properly do it. Then I think it might be Coach because he's like one of the best players right now. Everyone's connecting with them.
D, Chrissy, and Coach. I don't hate that Coach pick because everybody wants to work with him. We keep getting everybody wanting to work with him. It could backfire. He's so well liked that everybody's just like, we got to get rid of him. Riley, what do you got?
I'm also going to say D as my first one. Just feel like, per our conversation earlier, she should have massive target on her back.
Right.
Then it gets tricky. I might say Christian, actually. Because I feel like
do think he's in trouble. Yeah.
Like I feel at this point, if I were on this island, I would just have a trouble kind of trusting Christian. Like I feel like he's just been all over the place. And so there's potential where it's like he becomes a consensus name because there's not that many people who are like sticking with him. And then the next one, I'm going to read the edit probably incorrectly. And I'm going to say Tiffany, and just, this is where I know, I'm sorry. This is where I feel like, why has she gotten nothing? She's gotten nothing this season. And maybe the answer is that she
flips the hourglass this week.
Well, that could be. Let's hope no hourglasses. But no, I was thinking maybe she's the victim of some like bizarre twist, like the blood moon. And so in order to make that twist not feel like such a knife for the audience, you just like make
or
that
maybe
person.
The twist is whoever has the least amount of confessionals up to this point goes home.
Yeah, but they don't control that.
They do control that. You mean the producers?
The players
don't.
don't.
Yeah,
The players
Yeah.
don't. Yeah.
Like, it's not my fault. I didn't have any confessionals. I'm, giving you stuff. So I don't know. I guess those three.
What do you say, Tyson?
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to go a little bit different than everybody, just so that we hedge our bets here at The Pod Has Spoken.
Somebody gets something right. Yeah.
I think I'm looking at Aubrey and Genevieve. I'm thinking about Joe saying, like, if this isn't a storyline, then why are we even seeing it? I believe that one of them pushes so hard that they end up actually being the one going home. And I think Genevieve is doing most of the pushing.
I agree with that.
So I think that she could be one. She totally safe, except for that she goes into the merge and tells everyone what a big problem Aubrey is, in so much that everybody just is like, let's just get rid of Genevieve because we don't want to be her next.
If that happens, isn't it kind of, I mean, we feel however we feel about the Billie Eilish Boomerang idol, but like that Genevieve found 2 idols and has nothing, and Aubrey didn't do anything and Aubrey has one, like, that's tough.
Yeah.
Well, and what's wild too is if Aubrey plays her idol and then the votes bounce back on Genevieve and she goes home, then the Boomerang idol is already just a complete bust, right? Because the other 2 Boomerang idols go to Genevieve if they go out. Well, now she's out of the game, and then the third one has been used. So we just have 2 regular idols and no more Boomerang idols.
Right.
Sorry, Billie Eilish Boomerang idol.
Yeah, please say it. Give it.
You have to by law.
Yeah, it's proper. Given name.
Terminology, yes. It's full given name. So Genevieve I have going if there's one.
Yeah.
I do also think Emily in the Christian and Emily thing, if Emily keeps being so wishy-washy and going back and forth and spilling all the beans, then that needs to, I think people will address that at some point soon. So Genevieve, then Emily. And then lastly, I just think like somebody who's not threatening is going to just stick there. So I think Chrissy's going to be fine. I do think Tiffany is going to be fine. Let's go with Jonathan. I think Jonathan hasn't really built much on Sela, and they could also say he's a challenge threat, but that not be the real case. The real case is that like they need to go after the honor and integrity group a little bit if it's going to get toppled.
Yeah.
Another question I had, these are really fun picks from everyone. I think a question I had is like, the idea of the Boomerang idol is either, Ozzy gets voted out and then Genevieve gets her idol back, or come the merge, you have some goodwill with whoever you gave that idol to. Do you think that, like, I don't know that Rizzo is going to be like, thanks so much for the idol, Genevieve. I don't know that Ozzy will do that for Genevieve either. I think Aubrey, because she was like so low when she got hers and like cried and she was like, someone's looking out for me. That's perhaps the only one where I could see that like fostering a tie after the merge. But like Genevieve, for all of her work, like, I don't think that's going to come like back to her in a positive way at all, which is really tough, at the end of the day.
Especially if they learn, I think you're right, especially if they learn that it bounces back too, because then you're like,
are they targeting me?
Right.
Yeah, you didn't just share it with me because you wanted to work with me. You may have also shared it with me because you thought
and
it was
you shared it with me and then told 10 people. Right. So like, what is that?
Too.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Like, if the giver stayed all the way silent about it and the receiver stayed all the way silent about it, sure. Mm-hmm. But you can't ever be certain. If I found an idol that just popped up in my bag and Joe came to me and was like, I gave that to you 2 weeks ago, I'd be like, did you? Or did somebody else who's not here with us anymore? Or am I going to hear it from somebody else? And now I'm going to have to determine between who. Like, I'm taking it with a grain of salt, and I'm not like, my goal at that moment is to convince Joe to not tell other people, but I also have to assume other people know if she knows. So now I kind of have to target her because that's the easiest way to know that she's not going to tell other people.
Deadly boomerang effect. Maybe that's why Genevieve goes out, because, 2 people are like, hey man,
yeah, maybe 2 people get together and they're like, Genevieve gave me one.
Yeah.
Now she gets 2. If we go, let's get her.
That's a Rizzo Ozzy alliance then, which I did not have in my books at all. So that would be funny.
Could be.
Yeah.
Anything else before we shut this down, Joe?
I don't think so. I think we got to everything that I wanted to get to. This is great. This is so fun for me to ask you guys questions.
Joe, do you have a winner pick?
Mal and I picked Aubrey as our number 1 just because of that like weird moment. We just thought that would be really interesting. I am winning my pool right now. I did win last season, but we will see. We'll see how this all shakes. I did not have the Honor Integrity Alliance on my radar though, so I don't know what they're going to do to my game at the end of the day. We'll see.
Well, they got to start getting gone. I think once one of them falls, it creates mistrust in the group a little bit.
Right. 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the inner circle of, of the 5? Is there like an inner 3? You know what I mean? That like,
the coach,
Joe and Jonathan, maybe.
Oh,
I was thinking it was, you're Colby, probably right.
I think Colby's on the outs. Colby
is
called us.
Yeah.
Colby's not on the outs, but I don't think he's in the core build of the Honor Integrity group. I think Coach, Joe, and Jonathan are the nucleus of
sounds right.
What's happening there.
But Colby's the Oakbound Warrior, the friggin' lawmaker of the forest.
He is the lawmaker of the forest.
Do you think that he's like connected, everyone's connected to him in that alliance, but do you think that he's the one who's going to be able to jump in and out of like the...
I think once you jump out and get caught, you're done.
Who do you think? Sorry, I know you're like, let's wrap this up, but I
no.
Who do you think has the worst social game? And is it Colby or is it Ozzy? Those are my 2 at the top of my list where I'm like, what game are we playing here? I mean, like Ozzy has made it through, but like Ozzy, there's this whole like, I'm back and I'm better and I figured out my social game. And I'm like, have you, bud? Or are you just sort of like floating along at this point? I'm not sure. But yeah, what do you think?
I think Colby's just a nice guy.
Yeah. But like
I think he's just out there. I think that's his social play, is just being a nice guy that everyone's comfortable being around. So I think that's him. Ozzy, I think he's having moments where he's like, I'm trying to be more, and then I'm not. And I don't know. I think Emily's social game is also like she ends up winning people over because she's like, I don't know what I'm doing out here. But it's like, yeah, but you just told everything to everybody. And now, like, I think that's also a tricky spot, is like divulging way too much information all the time. Like that's a problem.
But she's been on the inside of all the votes, whereas like Ozzy has like several tribal councils been like, wait, what happened, guys? What, didn't we talk about this sort of thing? So.
And his reaction, him getting upset after tribal is just not a very good look towards any of like the alliances on that group. So
yeah, that could be. Worst social game. I mean, also Genevieve with Aubrey is very weird socially to like come at it like that. Rick and Joe both in that argument also very poor social. So there's I think there's a lot of blunders. There always is, but like those are some that really stand out across the board. Ozzy is definitely worse than Colby. Colby's social game is fine, but I don't think it's in the name of strategy. It's just who he is.
There's a way in which these like legacy players are coasting a lot on their reputation, So like you want if you're new, you kind of like want Ozzy still in the game, or you want Colby still in the game because you kind of just like want to have played with them, these like legends and stuff like that. I just think like the way that you guys were talking about Suri, Tyson, I think you said this thing about Suri, this idea of like, she's dangerous, but she's on my side, so it's fine. Like that is like her ongoing superpower. And then like Rizzo has this interesting superpower of like, this kid is so annoying. Wait, actually, I kind of like him. Is this sort of like thing that he does? So there's just like, that's why the Suri and Rizzo combo is the one that I'm like most interested in watching going forward. So,
dude, I love watching Rizzo just like win people over.
Colby's like, get this kid out of here. Then he's like, this kid is my son. He's my son. I love it. It's like. It's amazing.
Which we predicted here on the pod has spoken that Colby would become a father figure to Rizzo.
Nice.
So, yeah, we'll see. Somebody's social game will get them in trouble at the merge here, if it is a merge. And if it's not, we'll have a merge episode the next time. We'll keep having merge episodes till the merge actually hits.
Yeah.
Joe, thank you so much for your time and for tuning into the pod has spoken. And fingers crossed you win your survivor pool. How many people are in it?
I think it's like 12 to 15 people, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. That would be a big win.
Yeah.
That'd be almost as impressive as a season 50 survivor win. There's 24 out there. Yeah. And we will be back this week with the merge breakdown followed by exit press. So we don't know who or how or when. Well, we know when. Wednesday evening and Thursday afternoon. Until then, thanks for tuning in. See ya.